The news and views expressed herein are the sole property of Kenosha Today. Certain portions of this program may be unsuitable for children, sensitive adults, small animals, and the general public. Viewer discretion is advised. Are we ready to go, Uncle Scottie?
If you turn my microphone on.
Oh, that's right.
Hello, boy. So, yeah, I think I'll give that an affirmative yes.
Affirmative, yes. Okay.
One, two, three, four.
With Elmo the Insane Schneider, and we welcome you to the August 29th edition of the Kenosha Today Saturday Morning Breakfast Club. Again, we are coming to you live and local, barely, from the Barter Manor studio, which we are calling home. We had a little problems at the Union Park last week, but we fixed them.
A little problem this morning, but we're doing better.
We're doing better. Like there's not enough problems around our community to worry about that. We are streaming live across the very tear-filled cornfields of the Midwest this morning, streaming to everyone all around the world. We are brought to you this morning by our major sponsor, Barter's Financial Planning Service, and a host of other very local businesses. Somewhere along the last 2 days, I lost my voice. I don't know what.
COVID.
We remain committed to the Kenosha area, and we continue to broadcast live and local, bringing you the most up-to-date in news, weather, sports, and entertainment. And not like it's been a kind of a slow news week, huh?
Yeah, right.
Not much going on these days.
No.
But we don't want to make light of it. But we're going to get into some of the topics. Again, if you want to watch the replay, you just go to Kenosha Today Breakfast
Club on YouTube.
On YouTube, and everybody can now sign up with our thousands of fans who have joined the Kenosha Today Nation. Like this on Facebook. As you can see, our phone number is 597-3020. It is about 80 degrees here in the Kenosha Today Nation this morning. And so from the pandemic room, or War Room Central, Saturday morning starts right now. Well, obviously this has been, in my 71 years, the worst week I've ever encountered.
Never believe I would see anything like that in Kenosha.
That always happens in other communities. Portland, Chicago.
Big cities.
Big cities. But not in sleepy Kenosha here. And after Sunday night, that was kind of I don't know how we could have ever prepared for that. And they said, well, you need to call in the National Guard. Well, how did we know that was going to turn out? It was about like that, right? And then we got to Tuesday, which was total disaster. And all of these outside agitators came in and burned down most of downtown, or uptown.
Uptown.
And I've never seen anything like our downtown. All around town, it looks like a war zone. Everything's boarded up, and I guess you can't blame them because
got to protect your property.
Yeah. Well, and now it poses a good question because we're going to get into Kevin Matheson and his Kenosha Guard. I guess if you're on your own property, remember that time? I think it was they had $1 million house, and the guy comes out with an AK-47, and the wife had a shotgun or something.
Yeah, down in St. Louis.
St. Louis, but that was their own property.
Yep.
Now, yes, I believe in your Second Amendment rights, the right to bear arms, but not to go out in the public. And, it is a state law. Again, we're going to get into it that I think they could have easily, in my view, issued a proclamation or an executive order. You can break the bear arms, but not walking around town.
No, you can't infringe it. You can't infringe it.
at all.
Nope. So Wisconsin's an open carry state. You can walk around carrying a gun wherever you want. So
Okay. Well, All right, then we're going to get into that in a little bit because I have some verbiage, so to speak. So at any rate, I'm glad that there was no fires after that day. There's a couple minor cases, and now we brought in. I think we have 1,000 National Guard people here, and at the FTA.
There were some more fire bombings, but they managed to put them all out before they got to the extent that they did the night before. So that's
there was an article in today's Kenosha News about a kid that got arrested, I think on Tuesday. It was about 11 o'clock. And he thought he was treated like a criminal. Well,
you are a criminal. How about that?
You know, what part about 8 o'clock curfew or 7 don't you understand? What do they think? And that was the rub on everybody saying, you issue a curfew, we'll start arresting some people. And yeah, the feds were coming around in unmarked cars, but they were, had their badges and identified themselves. And he says he was a criminal. Well, maybe not to the extent of shooting somebody, but you're out after curfew. And that
you're not supposed to be there.
All of those people, when the guy got shot, the 2 people got killed on Wednesday, and the one they got wounded, that would have never happened had they been home. That was at 11:45. So at least one of the things that really brought tears to my eyes, we had somebody actually burned a trolley. Burned one of our trolleys.
We've got a picture of that at the end of the show, don't we?
Do we?
Yes.
Oh, I didn't know about it. If you got one, then we do? A burned out trolley?
That's an old one.
Oh, okay.
Watch that. You always leave. You never watch the closing of the show.
Oh,
so.
all right. Well, shame on me. But, the sad part about that is we got 4 left. But at least now we're doing peaceful protests, and some of the groups are saying they wouldn't stop until the demands were met, and insinuate the charges against Blake would only intensify the protesting. Well, you got to do it right, and we're going to get to this.
Yep. Protest all you want. Don't mean you're going to get your way.
I don't want to get into the details of the incident from last Sunday because all the facts aren't known, and that is what's happening. Is all of this misinformation is being circulated?
As I'm out places, everybody's got a different opinion on what happened.
Yeah.
So
So let the
until the Department of Justice comes out
Right.
with the results of their investigation, everybody should just keep their mouth shut about it because nobody knows what's happened. So.
And I think the FBI is doing a parallel investigation. The Kenosha Police Association, that's what came out today. I'm not going to get into the details because that's just one side, and there's going to be 2 more sides, and hopefully they'll all line up. And when the facts are known, then what happens?
The problem is people believe what they want to believe. They don't, which is not necessarily the truth. And that's the whole problem here. They just believe what they think it's.
Well, that's the problem with Facebook. You can put up anything, and they don't fact check it. Now, I will understand that Facebook has taken down Mr. Matheson's Facebook page because he was inciting a riot. And Facebook a year ago or 6 months ago wouldn't have done that, would they? So it is what it is, and it's supposed to be of. I'd like to see Facebook do more of that. You're going to incite a riot. And say
I'd like to see Facebook go away. That's what I'd like. It's useless.
Yeah, it's probably not going to go away.
No, it's not.
But you got that in Twitter and there's another one I think I don't.
Social media has caused a lot more problems than it gives any benets
It was
to
originally
society.
started just as
that's
passing information.
Right.
And it's gotten way out of line. So at any rate, the curfews are now at 7. But I think we have enough bodies between National Guard people and federals and the FTA and FBI to arrest people. And because they've been taking them to Racine. You spend the night in jail.
Yeah, well, Kenosha's closed. That's why it's closed off. So
you spend the night in jail or bond out the next morning. And
especially if the feds get you, you're from out of state. That's crossing state lines to incite civil insurrection. 10 years, no parole.
I think for the most part, the protests from our local people, and I applaud them, has been very peaceful. But it's all these outside people who come in with the Washington state plates and 9 people in a bus that they busted.
They're in front of my plates Tuesday night.
Oh yeah,
stealing license plates off the cars that were parked on the street. So we had about 12 people out in front of in front of them and scared. It's like, there was a bunch of kids that were like 14 or 15 years old riding motorized bicycles. They come up, they had nut drivers and ratchet wrenches, and they would, they'd run in and try to steal the plates off the cars. So
Deputy Dog here.
we chased them all away. So I had my official Ray Meisner federally elected alderman badge with me, and I'd just scream at them and flash the badge, and they would run away. Yeah.
So, you know what? I hope as we get through the weekend, last night was apparently calm, and tonight, and I'm thinking the guard will probably stay through the weekend. But I don't think you ought to announce, in my view, hey, we're leaving, because the next night these characters will be back.
Well, I think, the word is, if they didn't go to Washington, D.C. to be in that march yesterday, they're all going to Chicago to loot the Mag Mile again. They had to give them 2 weeks to restock before they can go rip off stuff down there. So that's...
everybody wants to know who's financing these. Is this George Soros, do you think?
Oh, yeah, he's part of it, but I think the Chinese and the Russians are doing it too. So,
well, I suppose here's an out-employed thug.
That's
and
it.
Gun.
Yep. Who knows what channel it goes through? But that's.
Here's $1,000 to go and start looting, and so that's.
Oh, $18 an hour. One of the guys was interviewed on television. Says, I get paid $18 an hour to do this. He travels all over the country to do it.
Of course, he reports that as his income tax.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
Yeah, plus traveling expenses. I can just see your job resume. Professional thug, have own gun.
Yep.
But anyway, I guess everybody, enforced the curfew, and the police union released a statement today. By the way, anyone wants to call in with an opinion, 262-597-3020.
3020.
And they had done this already, and it took until Friday, but they wanted to make sure they got their facts. And it pretty much mirrors what you saw on video. And of course, then there's the argument, why didn't we have body cameras? And even dash cameras might have showed some of it. But we'll have to see how that works. I think there's going to be a little push to put that in the budget instead of 22, but 2021. And I think you can get federal dollars for that. In fact, I thought that's what Sheriff Beth had indicated. Instead of ordering them back when they wanted them in March, hey, wait, and we'll get some grant money, because it's expensive to get these things. But anyway, we'll withhold discussing all that until all the facts are in. But I guess when all the facts come in, I mean, you're going to have to accept them, yay or nay.
Yep.
I mean, it's like this presidential election. I mean, if your guy doesn't win, well, you're going to have to accept it, and that's the way our system of
They still haven't
works.
accepted it from 2016,
Yeah.
so that's one of the problems here.
But some of these pictures were just really disturbing, especially you go down to where the Danish Brotherhood was, and you go on the other side of the block on Roosevelt Road with Rody Camera, and what's the mattress place there?
Well, it's under the DB.
Oh, the mattress place is okay. I was confused. I thought there was
There's a furniture store over on Roosevelt too, so Star Furniture over there. So,
but I hope they all had
If
their
they were bold
insurance
stuff,
properties insured, and between getting
Mm-hmm.
that and federal, and I'm sure state disaster funds to rebuild, and we'll rebuild. I mean, it may take.
it's horrible. They have these people on TV. They have insurance. What difference does it make to them? They can just rebuild the place. Okay, yeah, right. Okay, but what a stupid rationalization.
The problem is with some of those older buildings that were built in the early 1900s is the actual cash value of it based on what it is now, and the cost to replace that building could be.
Plus all the inventory and everything else,
Yeah.
and loss of business.
Make sure all of those things.
Some of these people have put their entire lives into these businesses, and they've lost everything. They're never going to recover from it.
Like the article about the boys owning the Rody camera shop. Their hearts and souls, and yeah, the insurance can rebuild a building or get some more inventory, more cameras, whatever. But in your heart and soul, and I think there's probably your third generation is into this. That can't be replaced. And
Yep.
But what's your alternatives? You can sit and cry, or collect insurance and find a different place. And it's just so very, very sad.
We have a call here, Uncle Scottie. Let's see if this thing works.
All right, you're in charge of the phone, Elmo. We got a new system here. I no longer have to hold up one. And
Hello, you're on Kenosha Today.
Good morning, Scott and Elmo.
Good morning.
Shirley.
Shirley.
Good morning. I'm just heartbroken. That's all I can say. I just can't believe what happened.
Yep. So,
that stuff happens.
Just
Like,
like a nightmare. I couldn't sleep. I wake up and it's not real, But
that's only a couple blocks down from. You're kind of.
you're in that area. Yep.
Yep. Near that, I always went to Rhodey's camera shop. Oh, I got all my cameras, pictures for years. And Danish Brotherhood, so many parties we went to their wedding receptions, and I haven't seen it yet. I don't know if I'm going to go down and see it. I just can't, can't.
That's up to everybody.
believe.
I mean, it's like downtown Beirut. You never think that that stuff happens in Portland, Seattle, Chicago, and look what they did to the Magnificent Mile. And like Elmo says, they took them 2 weeks to restock, get more inventory. They're going to do it again. And that's my fear that once the National Guard leaves, that they're going to come back. 'Cause that's all these guys got to do. So.
Or find a new place to go to. There's roving bands of barbarians. That's all we have here. So.
Yeah.
Stay out. Get out. Stay out.
I hope we're pretty safe now, right?
Well,
for a couple of days, I think, at least. So.
After Wednesday, we had Thursday and Friday of peaceful nights. When was the shooting?
Well, not told.
When was the shooting? When the two kids got killed.
I can't.
I think that was Wednesday night. But we're going to get into that. But that's still, again, that's 11:45. Had they been enforcing the curfew, those people would be alive today. And,
yeah, I know.
Well, the other thing is, a lot of these people, they were the rioters in Portland and Seattle and Chicago and Denver and Atlanta. Well, if the police there would have arrested them, they wouldn't be here. They'd be in jail in those other cities. But no, the mayor's there. No, we're going to let them do it.
And we're not even going to let them prosecute. What place was that?
What?
Was that Madison?
Yeah, Madison too.
We're not going to prosecute them.
Milwaukee's had their share of it. So
just here's carte blanche, and
yep.
Go take we're
going to let you do this with no consequences.
Have you driven around town, Shirley?
No, not yet. We're going to this morning.
Well, everything is boarded up. I mean, from out by Target, Dick's Sporting Goods, you go out to Kohl's, that whole plaza is boarded up. Just about every gas station. In fact, they sent out emergency warnings to every gas station. Turn your pumps off at 7 because they were going to try to do that.
We did right around. We had to go to the grocery store, and Popeyes is all boarded up. And we went to get gas, and that was all boarded up.
Yep.
So we didn't go downtown yet, but we saw around where we live, and that's all boarded up, everything.
All of downtown, it's just surreal going through there. And then the governor comes in and he talks about how great the artwork they're putting on the plywood is.
We're going to get to that. Governor Evers totally dropped the ball, in my view. For one, him and Mandela Barnes issued these bizarre statements. And finally, there's somewhere I have where the police unit says, please refrain from sending any more
inflammatory statements like
just
that.
Put gas on the fire. And, when he issued that on, I think, Monday morning, he had no idea what actually had transpired.
Nope.
And, you want to send your condolences. And you should have been issuing praying for peace instead of throwing gas on the fire. And a lot of people fault him for that. Yes, there was a miscommunication in getting the guard here, but once that was,
I can tell you, Tony Evers did not write that statement. They just got him out of bed to read it. That's all it was. So.
Oh, well, somebody wrote it for you?
Sure, yeah. He does. He's got people behind him that are, this is weekend at Tony's. They just wheel him out in a hand cart and have him talk. So.
Well, in my view, he should have been here on Tuesday, and
you're right.
And I like Mayor Andorino. I think he's done a lot. But I think all these guys seem to have disappeared. There was no photo ops with these guys surveying. Maybe they did, and they didn't get their pictures taken. But
who expects this to happen? That's the whole.
So weird. Sunday, we took a ride. I had to mail some letters downtown, and we went by all of, not knowing, like an hour and a half later, that would be like the way it is. I can't believe it. We were there, and saw everything, and then to hear about what happened an hour and a half later, I thought, oh my gosh.
Well, that went out on social media, Facebook, and they had people coming from Milwaukee and Chicago and Madison.
They said there was
within an hour and a half they were here.
Exactly. There was a line of 200 cars coming both ways until finally somebody said, oh, maybe we should block off the entrance to Kenosha. What do they think they're coming here for? I mean, ice cream cones? But, the
Have you seen it? Both of you have you ridden downtown in 22nd Avenue?
I go through downtown all the time.
Have you been there?
Yeah, I have downtown, but I was going to an uptown, but it was bumper to bumper and it was taking me half hour.
Yeah, there's a lot of gapers out there.
Yeah,
we should sell tickets to that. So, what the heck? All these idiots want to go down and see all this stuff. But
Yeah. We had been to that fire that Sunday before, too. Remember that fire? There was a fire there a couple of weeks ago. So we just went to see that, and that made me sick. Oh my gosh, those poor people.
Hey,
and how it just that was unbelievable. And then to go home and hear this other, it just wasn't.
Shirley,
couldn't
let me ask
comprehend what happened.
Shirley, you're about maybe 8 blocks from there. Could you still smell the smoke and the tear gas the next day?
I could smell it by me.
Oh, really?
Yep. We could. And helicopters. We had heard the helicopters for a couple of nights. There were so many helicopters.
Yeah, all the news ones. And Wednesday night they had the military helicopters with the spy cameras on up there and just doing the video feed to the people on the ground so they can.
Well, I guess my question is, why aren't they, when they take these guys and they're from out of town, they better interrogate them. Hey, you guys are looking for serious time unless you ante up who's paying you and where are you from. I mean, that's pretty simple.
You got the Fifth Amendment, right to remain silent.
Okay,
I don't
take them
know.
to court and prosecute them.
Yep.
And if they don't have a defense,
I don't think, a lot of these people, they don't, the money just comes. It's an envelope full of cash. They have no idea where it's coming from. So,
I mean, for even the bail money?
what? Well, anything. It's all
Okay.
compartmentalized.
Okay.
That's it. These people are just useful idiots that go out there and do this stuff. That's it. So they got no
You
idea who's in
just
charge.
said it, yeah, undescribable. How anybody could do that.
Well,
I just can't comprehend how,
I had a fellow tell me- I had a
any
fel-
person could be part of any of that.
I had a fellow tell me the other day, he says, 2020, like in golf, if you have a bad shot, you can take a mulligan, start over. That's what I think we got to do in Kenosha. Let's go back to January, just wipe these first 8 months right off the books and just start all over. Forget the pandemic, and we'll go back to radio maybe, and we'll just start over.
Yeah. Well, at WIP, oh my gosh, they were terrific. For all the hours they were on and describing everything, and just all of them. Pete, Dan, Lenny, everybody, Bill Lawrence, everybody.
They did a good job.
I can't name them all. They were just Jerry Booth, Steve Adams, Terry Florio. They just
Okay, we get it.
they were just great. Did you listen to any of that?
Radio.
Any of that?
Shirley, all right, let's go to something positive. You want to give us a weather report if you have one?
Okay. Today is going to be beautiful. And tomorrow, it's cooler and beautiful tomorrow. Tomorrow's our wedding anniversary.
Congratulations.
So it's supposed 62 years.
Oh, wow.
So, yeah, wow. I was 12 when I got married. Close to it, yeah.
I don't think we got 60 to
Yeah,
12.
Child bride.
I was a teenager, so I'm not lying. And the weather all week, there might be some rain later on, but it looks like a pretty nice, and it's going to get cooler.
Of course,
Pretty good week.
Next
That's
week's
what I
Labor
heard.
Day weekend, so, they always have the big car show, but that's been canceled some months ago. The big car show downtown. Just not a lot that used to go on Labor Day weekend. Festivals would have been Frank Carmichael's Cheesapalooza, was canceled months ago, so.
All of that's canceled, right?
Yeah, that's been canceled some time back. I think we're going to recover for this if we stay peaceful and we can rebuild buildings. And maybe this is a wake-up call that, yes, I don't want to diminish the fact that there's racism racism going on, and we need to have. We should have had that discussion years ago. And I will point out that they've had these discussions back when Reverend Arrington was here and Brother Wright was here 15 years ago. And I remember sitting on couple of those meetings, and whatever happened to all that after those two gentlemen passed away, whatever those reports were probably collecting dust someplace, and it was gone. And then we had to come back with George Floyd and this incident and some other ones across the country. Well, and if you watched the March on Washington yesterday, I feel their pain, and we need to have these discussions.
And Scott, you were there, right? You were at some of those meetings.
Way back when. They had them at the.
Well, the problem, these people have no interest in solving the problem. That's all. They'll sit around and talk about it all they want, and nothing ever changes. Because people make money off of this stuff. That's the whole thing.
Reverend Arrington, geez, I had to be maybe 20 years ago. He even let me get up and speak at the Second Baptist Church. And then Brother Wright, most of these things were at his church. And I remember the Church of Christ, it was off a block west of Columbus Park. And you know what? We had some dialogue that I thought was going to be very helpful. And then unfortunately, they passed and nobody came and picked up the ball, so to speak. And here we are.
We have another caller, Scott.
Yeah.
Who is it?
Gunga.
Okay, hang on there, Shirley.
Your boyfriend's here.
Okay, I gotta say hi to Gunga.
All right.
Good morning, Gunga. Hello?
Maybe I don't want to talk to you.
Hi, Gunga. You'll talk to me, right?
Certainly.
Hey, Gunga, did you call me this week?
Is this BLMLOL?
Hey.
Barter's life matters. Laugh out loud.
Yeah, Barter's life matters. Okay.
Laugh out loud. How come we never hear you? I mean, it seems like you're a distance away. I mean, don't you pay your bill or something?
Well, that's because I'm talking out of my rear end.
I asked you before, did you call me this week? I think I talked to you one night, didn't I?
I talked to you twice, and you didn't know who I was. I said, I'm Elmo. Elmo said...
I think we lost you there, Gunga.
Oh, one moment, please.
You're taking our valuable time here, you know.
Bad cell area?
Yes. How can you hear me any better now?
Yeah.
Yep.
A little better.
Okay, good. Now I'm going to hang up. And what is your show capacity other than the ravishing Shirley? What other talents do you have on today?
Nobody. It's just me and Elmo.
Scott and Elmo, Gunga, you're something else. Scott and Elmo, I gotta say, it was good to see you last Saturday.
Thank you for coming out, Shirley. So,
Hey,
we had a few technical
did you have a
problems,
good
but
birthday?
Did you have a good birthday?
oh yeah,
Hey, Gunga, get this. We're 30 minutes into the show on the beer garden at Union Park, and we let Shirley do the news. And just about to the end, the camera freezes up, and we couldn't get it working. We were done.
Yep.
So Shirley screwed up all our equipment.
it's working fine today.
Yeah.
What happened? It wasn't on TV, right? It didn't work. The
No,
whole
it was too
thing
messed
didn't
up
work.
to put
Oh,
on
it never
TV.
appeared?
Yeah,
I know. I
talked to
forgot
Jason.
all about it
I
with
just-
this other stuff.
Yeah, I just said we had technical difficulties. It's not.
Oh.
So.
Oh, that was too bad because it was fun. I was the weather girl.
Yep.
Well, we'll do it again. Hey, Gunga, when you get a function, we'll let you come on the show.
Gunga, you have to come on the show.
Certainly not. My functionality is limited. However, last Sunday was quite an experience with your man John and K-Dog.
Oh, yeah. We're sitting on a Sunday at Our Lady of the Long Islands, and John and Heidi were there. Myself and K-Dog and Gunga here. And that was about, I wish I'd had a camera for that, because that would have been 3 hours of solid sock'em laughter.
Yes, John is a good-looking man.
Let's not relive any of those things that he said or you said or I might have said.
I enjoyed every moment of the barter bashing.
Okay, I get that part, but let's not use the terminology because Elmo and I'd like to come back here next week.
What terminology were we talking about?
That's not I'm not going to tell you.
Okay.
All right.
I really had a good time, and then I left, and of course, then you let the whole city burn. Unfortunately.
I mean,
It's all Scott's fault.
yeah, but that's tragic. But you know what? I thought the boathouse. I went past there earlier in the week and it was boarded up. I thought it was closed, and I had no conversation. But it's open, so if you want to come up tomorrow afternoon, we can relive the magic.
Oh, I don't know if I could take another one of those heart attacks.
Well, you're going to have to come in. Just do me a favor. I know you got Illinois plates. Don't cover them up because you'll be in cuffs before you get down
That's
to
right.
39th Avenue.
That's true. Yes, I missed Elmo last Sunday. He would have been the icing on the cake for last week's.
As busy Sunday afternoon.
Yeah.
So,
We probably don't want to go there either, do we? So, all
Well,
right.
I got to see both of them on Saturday, so that was good.
You didn't grope them, did you?
oh, I was wishing.
I was the weather girl, so something happened and it didn't record.
Oh, that's a shame.
I know.
Well,
I got all dressed up, had my hair done and everything, and then I couldn't be on.
How is Kenosha doing today? Is it anything happened yesterday? I saw the National Guard. I was up there, and they were on 173 and 41, and they were in numerous force.
were they?
It was pretty quiet, right, Scott? Last night,
Yep,
thank
so
God.
last 3 nights.
Hey, Gunga, when you were coming up, were they having like a roadblock and turning people away if you had out-of-state plates?
No, they were not. They were inviting them in so they could smash their skulls in with their combat boots.
Okay.
All right. Well, that was
Yes,
probably.
but they were looking for somebody's life that mattered, and they didn't find anybody. Not
Nope.
from Illinois, anyway.
All right, Gunga. Well, I think we're gonna have to go.
Good.
Well, nice talking to all of
right,
you,
it
and
was good to
stay
see you tomorrow
safe, and
afternoon.
we'll just pray that things get better.
Yep, that's all you can do.
Pray
That's all
for,
you can do.
pray for me, Gunga. Pray for me.
Every day of my life, it's a nonstop prayer.
For me.
Good to hear from you, Shirley. Take
You
care.
too,
All right, we gotta
Gunga. You
go.
too. Always.
All right, Shirley, we got to go. Thanks for the
Okay,
call.
thank you guys. Love you guys.
Bye,
Thank
Shirley.
you so much.
Stay
Stay
safe.
safe.
Yep.
How do we?
Bye bye.
Oh, we don't do anything. We just.
Nope.
What I wanted to talk about next was, and in fact, anybody else want to call us, 262-597-3020. How does a 17-year-old kid from Antioch end up in Wisconsin with a AK, whatever he had, 47 or 57, what? Apparently,
With a gun.
with a gun. Ended up killing 2 people. Well, he belongs to this supremacist group, apparently. And his mother, it was reported his mother drives him here, and she was packing heat too.
Mm-hmm.
So what a lot of people don't understand is, and I don't, here he's got his hands above his head, and he's got his weapon, because it was clearly on Facebook, and 3, not squads, but the armored vehicles pass him by. I don't know, maybe they didn't understand what he was doing when he got his hands up. So
Well, they thought he was signaling to the cop that he was not
Oh.
threatening anybody.
Oh.
That's what the police
Oh,
thought. That,
okay.
that he was saying, no, I'm being peaceful here, and that's why they went. Actually, they told him to move along or something like that.
he did, he went home. And so now he's charged with 2 counts of, a whole bunch of counts. And as a 17-year-old in Wisconsin, he can be charged as an adult, correct? That's what I was told.
Yep.
And
If they want to do it, yeah.
but right now he's in a juvenile detention in Illinois, He's given 30 days, and they're going to put a defensive lawyers team together, and his defense, I'm sure, is going to be self-defense. And they do have a picture. I saw a picture of a guy with a skateboard. One of the guys that got shot.
Yeah, right.
Nailed him.
Hit him over the head with that. So.
You know what? Again.
Well, he looked up. Both the guys that got killed were not angels either. They both got rap sheets on his near arms. So.
Exactly. So we'll have to see how that works out. And and the other thing, as long as I'm on that topic, is this former alderman Kevin Matheson, who some attribute to inciting this thing because he started this Kenosha Guard leader. And he's got a, you in conceal and carry, but he's got a weapon, and he was there interviewing with all the TV media and say, yeah, I organized this thing. Although now that this 17-year-old kid kills two of them, he said, I never heard of this guy. But depending on how far they want to push this and what happens to the kid, they could possibly cite him. And I think I had that. This was a legal opinion from a legal director of Georgetown University. Wrote a letter to Kenosha officials regarding laws related to militia groups as a result of reports of militant activity. And apparently, she was the one in the thing in Charlottesville. Institute brought a litigation against militia organizations that participated in the Unite the Right rally in Charlottesville and demonstrations in a manner that protects public safety while respecting individuals' constitutional rights. Well, remember in Charlottesville, that's when a girl got killed and somebody ran over with a car, and I think he went to jail. But the Kenosha Guard page was taken down by Facebook, as we said, and he's claiming, Matheson, he's doing what is best for his community. Well, unfortunately, the mayor, the county exec, the sheriff, we don't want you there. I mean, like Beth said in a press conference, if I would have given him a license or to deputize him, then the county, and he is responsible.
They're all liable for it.
I don't think I think the sheriff can deputize, but I don't think the police chief can, because the sheriff is an elected official, and is appointed by the Police and Fire Commission, voted on by the city council. But I mean, that would just bring chaos if you have that kind of stuff. I mean, and who knows where all these
Vigilanteism.
I'm glad that
Of course, the rioters, what are they but a militia? They're just on the other side. That's it. So.
Well, some of them got here apparently because of this, but I guess I don't know how we'll never know that. But anyway, that Facebook page was taken down, and I don't want vigilantism and this stuff with people that I respect your Second Amendment rights, and you can have a gun, and if your property that you're on is going to be looted and burnt, yeah, go ahead, defend yourself. What's that old story, Elmo? We've talked this. If somebody breaks into your house and hypothetically you shoot them, do they have to fall inside the house or outside? I mean,
no, that's the old law. They now have the castle doctrine. They can be in your front yard, and if you
feel a threat,
if you're being threatened, then you can shoot them in your front yard. So.
Well, that's what that couple was, and that we just talked about earlier. He had a AK-47, and his wife had a pistol or a shotgun, and they were on their front yard, but the protesters were moving right past their house. But
no, they broke the front gate down, and they were going in. They went right into their yard and started wrecking stuff. So
I guess I didn't realize that.
Yep.
Well, they would have had a full.
Yeah, they had a gate around their house and a fence around their house, and they broke the gate down. And
I didn't realize that, but.
And their house is basically a restored museum and stuff. So they had a lot of valuable stuff inside, and they were worried that these people were going to go in and start wrecking everything in there.
Had they not come out there, they probably would have.
Yep.
One thing I noticed, I did watch the two press conferences. The first one, again, it was the mayor, Jim Cruiser, John Anranium, Dave Beth, and who was the other one?
Police chief.
Yeah.
Yep.
And these guys had no idea, and they haven't been exposed to this National Press Corps.
Yep.
They just got peppered, and there's no rhyme or reason. All the attorneys and follow-up questions are screaming, at least yesterday, and although they didn't bring out any new information, basically, at least they had a city policeman, okay, you next, and had some decorum and rhyme or reason to, okay, one more question. And but I think even Anuranium said, "Hey, this ain't my deal. I'm not used to talking to the national."
That's
press."
right.
And they haven't. And now you get.
We're just little Kenosha here, or at least we used to be.
Now it's really funny when you go through and you got Fox and CNN and MSNBC, and just about every half hour, here's an update from the Kenosha, and they got guys on downtown
Yep.
or uptown, and you know what they've used? They've used the backdrop of the Danish Brotherhood, you know, and
Yeah,
all that.
yeah, oh, yeah, yeah,
just
yeah,
as a here's how bad it is. Now the town, yes, there's parts of it
Well,
that are bad, but
if people didn't know where Kenosha was before, they sure know now. That's one.
it wasn't because of us, was it? I mean,
That's one thing. With somebody, I'd be traveling someplace, or business convention, national business convention, and stuff like that. Where are you from? Kenosha, Wisconsin. So where the heck is that? I said, you know where Chicago is? Yeah. You know where Milwaukee is? I said they're both
Yeah.
suburbs of Kenosha.
Yeah.
So that's
that's how you. That's a good reference part. I'm on the Wisconsin line between Kenosha, Milwaukee and that.
Chicago, right on the lake. So.
And you know what's surprising? Almost all these years, that being here and being all the nonsense that's gone on both those cities, pretty felt isolated. I mean, we didn't really have any problems
Till now.
And
I always said when a lot of development started happening, well, Kenosha, Amazon's going out there, and even a lot of the other
Uline
companies,
and,
Uline, and so Kenosha's. It's my father's favorite. Kenosha's location has finally caught up with itself, which is the whole thing, and maybe now it did in a bad way. So that's
well, all the development that's been going on here, and they're trying to develop the old Dairyland dog track, and Amazon's got another fulfillment center, and Uline's got two, and they're building these huge 600, 500,000 square foot warehouse on spec,
Yep.
because they know.
and they're filling them up. Well, we have good access to I-94, and that's really what it is.
Hope and pray that continues, and that this can be, as we talk about it, by the end of the year, and as we go down the road, this is just going to be except for discussing the racism part, but all this other stuff. It's unfortunate that it had to take this to maybe open the sleeping giant type of thing, and
Awake the sleeping giant. Yeah.
And we needed to have this discussion, and I hear the mayor say, "Well, we're going to do enough rhetoric. We've had that. We need to do something like now, next week." And that brings me to the county board was in the paper today. They are not going to meet on Tuesday, saying, "Well, we don't have enough on the agenda." Well, hello, Mr. O'Day. He's the chairman.
Yeah.
Where have you been? You've been off on a different planet this week. You have lots to talk about. And they said, "Well, we don't have anybody to protect us." Well, they've been meeting not in the courthouse, but in the normal county boardroom, but down on Sheridan Road and 85th down there. Remember where the county?
The job center.
So get the people down there, or at least have a meeting by
Virtual meeting. Yep,
but
like
you
were
folks,
before.
the people are looking to you, our leaders, for some kind of leadership, some kind of direction, and so you can't just say, "Well, we're not going to have a meeting now." I think the city council met in closed session by virtue giving Anuranium some certain powers that normally would have had to been voted on by the council. Some executive orders that he can do this. You can't wait to get all these guys together. But I think you need to have a meeting, and you better start addressing some of these problems. And otherwise, people are looking to you for direction. Let's give it to them. Don't say, "Well, we don't have enough for an agenda." Oh, geez, you got enough for an agenda for?
Well, it's not John O'Day's problem. The county board members have to put items on the agenda for there to be something there. So it's not his job to come up with the agenda.
That's true. That is a good point. And yes, prior to this, there wasn't anything to talk about. So yeah, what would be the purpose? But now I think they have a lot to talk about. Some kind of.
Well, again, most of this has been confined to the city of Kenosha. So what is the county board supposed to do about this? That's my question here.
Well, one, the sheriffs, they got to allocate some more money to the sheriffs or figure out somehow to get some disaster funds. I don't know. I'm not a county board supervisor, so I'm not privy to all that. But it's just my view that I think they should meet, at least by virtue, and have some kind of discussion on how we're going to go forward.
Well, that seems to be more of an administrative thing. They got to have whoever the finance guy and whoever they are that knows where to look for the money. And
Yeah.
once they find some money, then they can have a meeting and and vote on it.
Well,
So-
let's say they had a meeting Tuesday and they did it virtual, and I guess it would be up to what their fear is. I think that the citizens are going to be at citizens' comments, and just there could be some problems with that. But if it's a virtual meeting, I don't know if they don't have to have citizens' comments, do they?
I'm not sure how that works. So.
But anyway, my view is, and I encourage him to do something. And one of the other things I was watching that I found very unusual is one of the press conferences they asked Sheriff Beth, and I like Big Beth. I think he's done a nice job. If has he seen the video of the shooting? And he said he had not. Well, I found that troubling. I don't know if that's a big issue or not, but you think the top cop would see what what caused all this?
Well, again, I go back to the thing. Maybe he wants to hear from whoever else is doing the investigation, and to come up, because they got forensics guys. They're breaking that thing down frame by frame and stuff to pull everything out of there, and maybe he doesn't want to be biased in one way or another.
That's an excellent point. Because
because everybody, I've talked to 100 people who have seen this, and everybody has got a different opinion of what was going on there.
Yeah.
So
I guess I didn't think of it that way. You got a call?
we have a call. Good morning. You're in Kenosha today.
Hey, Elmo. Hey, Scott.
Hey, Dennis.
Dennis.
How's things
Yeah, I
in
just heard
Waterford?
one of your comments there. I totally agree with you. I don't know how the chief law enforcement officer in the county could not have looked at that tape yet.
Well, I hadn't thought about it until Elmo pointed it out. As soon as he would have said yes, he would have been peppered by the National Press Corps. What'd you think? And that's the worst thing he could have probably done, is given his opinion when it hasn't gone to,
they've got people at the Department of Justice that are, the forensics guys are tearing this whole thing apart, and frame by frame of that video, and every day they come out with something new that they found in that thing.
Yeah.
So let them do their job, and I think maybe. Again, this is just speculation on my part, but he doesn't want to have his preconceived notion of what happened there.
Because as soon as I agree, because I watched these press conferences, and as soon as he would have said yes, and I at first said to myself, well, that's kind of strange. He's the top cop, but now as I'm
except it's not. Those officers are not under his jurisdiction.
no.
So what is he going to do about it? Nothing.
What the press is, I think they were trying to bait him. And so, what do
That's
you
right.
think about this? And
Well, in my opinion, he could have said yes and could have said, that's not all the evidence that there is. I'm not going to make any judgment on it.
Yep.
I did see the tape, but to me it doesn't tell the entirety of the whole situation, so I'm reserving judgment. That's what I would have probably said.
well, though, when you're not used to talking to the national press, they can be unrelentless. And, oh, man, they were just peppering these guys all the time. So even when he said, no, I did not, they were still beating him up. Well, how could you not have seen that? So they were going to beat him up one way or another. Right?
Yeah, it doesn't matter. Right.
And now that I look back
Well,
on
I'll put it this way. It's a lot better than what our governor said when he first made a comment.
Yeah.
I have that someplace, but I'm not going to. I mean, he should have never said that. And like Elmo said, maybe he didn't actually write it, but that was not appropriate. And the state police president sent him a letter and said, butt out and keep your comments to yourself.
Right.
I really think that as opposed to other positions the federal government's taking, that in Kenosha's case, the federal government should assist Kenosha financially in the recovery, because I believe they tried to do everything they could. And these people that did this, the vast majority of them, to me, were from out of town.
Yep.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So, if you're going to charge them with a federal citation, and if you cross state lines to incite a riot, which they did, it could be 10 years. Well, if that's the case, you go to a federal court, and we're entitled to the federal disaster funds.
Yeah, and I believe the Fed should give Kenosha direct financial assistance
Right.
for the recovery.
Hey, if you get hit by a hurricane or a tornado or something like that, you can get it. So what's the difference between that and this? You know, that's,
Yeah. Hey, out in Waterford, when they had the big terrorist case of all those kids riding motorcycles, or not motorcycles, but go-karts on the road, you guys got federal funds for that, didn't you?
You're coming in kind of choppy. I don't know what kind of connection we have, but hang on. Let me try to move to a different part of my.
you're loud and clear here. We got a new phone system here, so.
Okay, now I can hear you better. Yeah.
Yep.
We got
So
a.
what was that last question?
I was asking when Waterford, the town you live in, had that problem with all those kids driving go-karts and golf carts on the road. You got federal money to protect your citizens, didn't you?
You know, I'm not sure about that. I'm really not sure.
I was trying to make light about federal money.
You know, I'm going to leave it up to you and the rest of the, let's just call it this way, the foundational, I won't call you founding, but I'll call you foundational fathers of Kenosha. I think you guys are going to come up with something like Carmichael and the gang. I think they'll come up with some fundraising ideas also.
Yep.
Well, we are called the Brain Trusts.
The brainless trust.
Well, you know what? Elmo's had some great fundraising ideas. You know, there's strippers at a golf course and some other things.
Yep.
That, we'll put, you know, we can make a lot of money. And if Kenosha wasn't on the map before, we won't be after that.
Yep.
Well, I'm glad you guys decided to have your show today. I think at times like this, I think it's needed, you know?
Yep. Yeah, we got it.
Hey, remember Captain's birthday party's next Sunday.
Yeah, I will. What time does that start, do you know?
I have no idea.
Probably about noon.
Okay.
It's at Union Park Tavern.
I know when it ends, when the captain's no longer able to stand up, I know.
Oh, we don't. That's not a prerequisite. I've seen times he's gone and everybody else is still.
Yeah. He texted me this morning, asked me if we were going to be on the air today, so he's probably thinking about calling in, I guess. So.
He's got a couple minutes.
Oh, yeah, I have no doubt that he'll call in. He's one of the first citizens of Kenosha today, too.
Hey, you know what? Almost, I thought I went past the boathouse earlier in the weekend. It was all boarded up. I drove around the parking lot, and there wasn't windows there, but I just assumed that they were closed because there was a sign over the door that says available for takeout and carryout. Turns out they've been open all week, and I got some things I got to take care of downtown today.
Your liver?
Do you still have the C-Scum operative or no?
Oh, that was put in a landfill 2 years ago.
Yep. I didn't know you could ram a boat that size into a dumpster. So
That was one of the funniest afternoons I've ever. It was in October, and the big digger machine, and we're sitting there on the deck, and he's cramming this thing into a
Yeah, they picked it up with the scoop and dumped it into the dumpster, and then he took the scoop and he was mashing it down.
I went out and told the guy, I said, you don't have to worry about shrink wrapping it. I mean, I just wanted to put it in storage for the winter. He said, well, it's in storage permanently.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know, it is really a shame, though, about Kenosha. I've been going there since the 60s to visit my relatives, and I always loved it, and it was just starting to, downtown acted like it was just starting to really come back.
Oh, yeah, we had a bunch of new restaurants, and things were happening down there all the time.
No empty storefronts, and
then then the COVID thing hit, and that knocked a few of them out. And now this, it's just a.
here's my prediction. I think by maybe Thanksgiving time, most of that, or hopefully sooner, those boards will come down, and by next spring, we can get some federal funds and redo those storefronts to bigger and better than they ever were.
Yep.
And use federal money. I hate to, but we need to do that. And I predict in 9 months we'll be back to where we were.
It's going to take a lot of work.
That's great. I'm glad to hear, because you sound more like someone else I know as opposed to a season of darkness.
Yep.
Oh yeah.
Well, it's terrible. You got some of these business owners down there. Like I said, they got hit with the COVID first, and I know a lot of them are just going to say, I'm done. It's,
Yeah.
it's too much. It's too much of a
Right.
emotional investment for them to get beat up like this all the time, and so we'll go work at Amazon or something like that.
You know what I also predict, Dennis? By the end of the year,
What's that?
my liver will be better than it's ever been before.
Well, that may take federal assistance for that cleanup
That's
too.
right.
Where's Dr. Fauci? And send in Dr. Burks with the Dale Evans scarves. I need some help. So
And by the way, just as a side note, I don't know about how you guys feel, but I'm through with sports. I really am.
I'm totally done.
yeah, that's I get what they were doing, but I don't think anybody's watching the NBA playoffs. I understand what they were doing to get attention, but I think they've ruined those sports. I don't think they're going to ever recover.
Nope.
Baseball was having a 10% increase for the last 10 years, and now that's why a guy like Zelich can get $20 million a year. I'm sorry, well, you're going to play 60 games for half the price and you can't get along on $10 million? I don't feel bad for those guys.
No, you're going to see viewership go way down. TV revenues are going to plummet,
Well,
and so hey, there won't be the money to pay these guys anymore. So
exactly, but up until then, we were paying maybe a couple $150 a seat and $10 for a beer. A family of four,
Yeah.
$500. So
right, $20 to park. What the heck?
we created this together between the players, and as long as
Well, it
we were
goes.
willing to pay it, what the heck?
Free market economy, whatever the market will bear.
Yeah.
There's nothing wrong with that. If the people are willing to pay that much, to go see them play, that's up to them. So
Dennis, got about a minute left here. How much would you pay to, if this was pay-per-view, how much would you pay us to watch this?
Pay to watch this year's show.
yeah.
Could we start up a fund to perhaps
GoFundMe.
negate your show?
Yeah, right. No, how much would he have to? How much should we be paying him to watch the show?
That was the old Bob Uecker line when he says, he got drafted, and it was something about $3,000. And that was supposed to be his bonus, and Uecker's line was, my dad didn't have that kind of money to pay him. So,
Well, there was one good comment though. I don't know about what you're. Put it this way, I believe in total equality for every American citizen, and the topic of reparations comes up now and then, and I believe I heard they asked that question to Kamala Harris, and I believe because of her family's involvement, and she stated, "Well, why are you asking me? I didn't own any slaves," and to me, that opens up the thing for everybody who didn't, right?
Yep. The whole thing.
I mean,
well,
we got to have that discussion another time, Dennis. But
Yep.
I know what you're saying. But you know what? As time goes on here and people want to have a discussion, I should call Anthony Kennedy. And I saw him on a press conference the other day. And I promise.
oh yeah, and if you heard on one of the shows on your former station I was listening to, somebody called in and they said they absolutely loved Anthony Kennedy.
We love him.
there's a lot to love there.
No, but I'm just saying they mentioned that. I thought that was pretty good, and I thought you'd appreciate hearing that too.
Well,
He actually had a pretty good piece they put in the paper. So good. Yep. So it was, even my father liked it. So
one of the things I loved about Anthony, and I still love him, he'd call us, one of the very few aldermen that ever did, and we could joke, and he would say to me, he would say things to me that I would have never said to him. But he's always going to play the race card because he stole a ham sandwich or something years back. But coming from him, it would have been okay. And I told him time later, coming from me would have been unacceptable. I would have heard it. I remember one of the funniest times was I get to the boathouse about 12:30, and he calls me. And he said, by the way, I got a call from the mayor. Everything I told you was off the record. I said, you're too late now, buddy.
Yeah. Well, I really appreciate what you guys are doing, and I know why you're doing it because you guys care about Kenosha. And
Yep.
I mean, thank you, and God bless and stay safe.
All right, Dennis, thanks for calling.
Yep,
And thanks for calling me in the week, too. I appreciated that.
Well, yeah, thank you.
Okay. All right.
All right, guys, take it easy. Love you guys.
Yep.
Bye bye.
Bye, Dennis.
I like the show, Elmo. We're not necessarily giving our opinions, but there's a lot to talk about. And like you pointed out, you've seen that 100 people have seen that video, and you get 100 different
Opinions about it,
and
yep.
that's what it is. So you have to take.
And all the other videos too, because there's guys, somebody we both know. He's been going down there and just been streaming video of everything that's been going on. He said he was 100 feet away from when those guys got shot.
That's getting too close. That probably put an end to the people going down there. Mm-hmm. I mean, there was an interview, I think.
Well, there's a lot of amateurs down there that think this is a cool thing to do, and now that they figure out, there's people with guns there. I don't know if I'm going to be going.
And one lady
think twice about doing
she
that.
Said, "Well, I'm going to be involved in an interracial marriage, and I took my 2 or 3 kids down there so they can see what it's about. But at 7 o'clock, I'm going home if I'm going down there at all because why take the chance?"
Yep.
But I can see her point, showing this is what we should be about, and we got a long way to go, and I think that's going to about wrap it up for us, Elmo, here on the August 29th edition of the Kenosha Today Saturday Morning Breakfast Club. I want to thank our sponsors, Barter's Financial Planning Services, and Charlie V's Kids for Cancer Treatment Foundation, and Kenosha's for Open Honest Government. We've been streaming to you live this morning from the Barter Manor Studio, located on the corner of Happy and What Went Wrong. We haven't been so happy this week, to be honest with you. But anyway, so for Elmo and myself, until we meet the next time, we thank you for the privilege of your time and have a very safe and pleasant weekend.
Written by our piano player, Mr. Elmo the Insane.
Well, I'm not a crook.